Hey y'all, I'm back. Hopefully with better audio. What a trip. The microphone I use to record almost everything does not work for some reason when I go live. You're hearing a lot of fuzz. So let me give y'all a second to pop back on in because we're going to go live for real this time. And when you get here, let me know if you hear from YouTube or Substack. Hi. Is it better this time? I think you were here last time. I did a couple tests to make sure we were good. So random. So random that oh God. Now what happened? Let's see. Can I add something? Y'all gonna be mad at me. You hear from YouTube. Y'all gonna be mad at me. Cause can I add something? I think I am live on Substack. It sounds crispier, no beeps. Thank you. I think I am live on Substack from what I can tell. As I was trying to say, I'm just going to rub my mouth a little bit till some more people pop in. But as I was trying to say, um, I want to, I've been doing a lot of videos. I've been very consistent and proud of myself for putting the content out there. And it's clear that you guys are loving the real estate content and just content in general. But I want to connect on a deeper level. So I want to start going live. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start having guests because I know a lot of very successful people in my mind, or interesting, fascinating, whatever you want to call them, people that I've met on the internet, people that I know in real life. And I think it's just interesting to hear more than just my perspective. So I want to start doing something that's going to be called the Cash Room. And so I was like, I got to go live and make sure everything is copacetic before I have a guest. So thank you for being my test live audience. And let me pull up. I did a community post last week asking for questions. I wanted to get some of your real estate questions answered. And then let me pull up because I did get a few from just a few minutes ago when my audio was not so good. So if you're new here, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jerry, and I make content for ambitious people who want to live life on their terms. On my channels, either Substack or YouTube, you will find content on real estate, systems that help me do it all, and money. Of course, we're going to talk about cash. So if you're into that, you're going to want to jump in, subscribe, save me, do whatever you need to do so you don't miss anything. So let's go ahead and get into these questions that I got. And I think I didn't get the name of the first person who dropped the first question, but Juice, I know you dropped a question and I screenshotted them before I left the last live. So let me answer your question first, and then I'll get back to the others. So, and as you're popping in, if anybody else joins, let me know if you're here from YouTube or Substack, because I do have two different audiences. The YouTube audience is mainly real estate, and Substack, they're more interested in my systems, the behind the scenes, how I do it all. So, for Juice asked, what numbers do you look at before buying a rental property? What tenant screening process do you use? So, what numbers do I look at? If you go to Zillow and you look up a rental property, they should have, or I should not Zillow per se, but any listing, they should have the rent roll. They're not going to tell you about their debt. So you're never going to know what they're actually, all of their expenses, but they will tell you what the rent roll is, what the taxes and insurance is. They may tell you the vacancy rates, but again, I don't really believe anything that anybody says. So, because their job is to try to get you to buy the property, they're going to make it sound amazing. So, What I actually look at is where is it? Where is the property? What rents can a property in that neighborhood pull in? Then you come to your own conclusion about what the rents are. Because that's another thing you'll see in the listings. It'll say market rent, it'll say whatever, but it's like, what are people actually getting in that neighborhood? And then it kind of depends. Are you doing a mortgage? I do mortgages. So I have to also look at um, what down payment and am I going to have to come up with? Um, what will be my payment every month? How does that factor into the monthly rent and what's left over? I want to make sure I have enough left over for my property management fees. I have enough left over for any incidentals. You have to account for vacancy rates. You have to account for utilities if that's your responsibility. So it's hard to say exactly what numbers I look at, but because if it's a single family home, your expenses are different from multifamily. But the ultimate goal is, after everything is said and done, is there at least 25% left over for me to take home? If it's not, if I can't figure out 25% on paper, it's not a good deal. Because I've said this in one of my other videos, if it looks like 25% is left over on paper, it's probably more like 15, which is a decent return, right? You can still, that's a comparable return to the stock market, to REITs, to anything like that. So I think it depends on how you're going to buy the property, what your intentions are for the property. Because I'm actually changing my intentions too, right? I'm factoring less, or not factoring, I'm weighing cash flow less than appreciation and tax write-offs, and because I could, the tax cash flow is just unpredictable. It might be there, but you can't count on it every month. I know when I first got involved in real estate, I 100% thought I was going to be able to quit my job, and I thought that where's my lip stuff at? I thought that the revenue was going to be repeatable and regular, and that you could count on it like you can your salary. But real estate is just not like that. So I hope I answered that question. Keep dropping the questions as they come to you, because I'm just gonna keep yapping and going through. Um, and if you want to give me more information about your situation that will help me be able to answer the question better, you can do that too. Do you still work a corporate job? This is from somebody else who was here earlier. Do you still work a corporate job managing 90 doors of real estate? If you have a partner, are they involved also? Yes, I still work a job. And I still work a job because of what I just said about the real estate not being so predictable. And your corporate job income is predictable. And I think that's what everybody's trying to get to realistically. Any kind of entrepreneur, real estate, whatever it is you're doing, you're trying to get to revenue that you know is coming in, you know what amount is coming in, so that it can support your lifestyle. And I think I actually would just finish recording. Actually just finished recording. And one of the examples I gave was that if you look at somebody like Grant Cardone, who has so many properties, ask yourself, why does he have a coaching program? Why is he on the internet making money from content? Because we all need multiple sources of income and revenue, even if you're a real estate investor with tons of properties, because there are so many unknowns and there are so many uncertainties. Like I've shared previously that you could screen the heck out of your tenants. And I realize I just didn't answer that question. You could screen the heck out of your tenants. You can't control if they lose their job in this economy. None of us can control that. It's not their fault. And if they're not in a situation where they have 6 months cash reserve, which is very rare for people living in apartments, if they don't have that level of reserves, I mean, that affects your cash flow. And it's not that they may never pay. They're just not going to pay on time. And that means that the money you thought was coming in for June, it's not coming in for June. So if you were expecting to use that money for your car note and your mortgage and your daycare and your this and your that, now you got to come up with money from somewhere else to keep yourself afloat. So that is why I still work. Now, what tenant screening process do you use? And I've went through multiple variations of this. Right now, my process is pretty strict. I use Zillow for applications, and that does a background check and it does a credit check. And then I actually don't pay attention to anything they upload into Zillow because, which is like pay stubs and I don't know where, I actually don't even look at it because I have a leasing agent. I built an AI leasing agent that does kind of helps me walk through my leasing process. And what the agent does is once I go into the application and I see the very first thing I check for is the background check because the background check tells you criminal activity and evictions. I'm really looking for evictions. If you have an eviction in the last 3 years, I immediately tell the agent decline your application. And so what the agent does is once it, because it, how do I explain this? I have a whole video about this, by the way, but the agent is combing my email looking for application submittals. Once it gets the person's name and email, it adds them to Airtable, which is where I store everything. And so as I'm going through the applications in Zillow, I also have my Airtable open on the side. And so all I'm doing is clicking buttons. So I see I'm looking at John's application. John has an eviction. I immediately go over here and say decline application. The agent tells John the results. So the first thing I look at is evictions. The second thing I look at is the credit check. And what I'm looking for in a credit check is it gives you an on time bill payment. And I don't really look at credit score because some people have low credit score simply because they don't have credit. So there are situations where, and I just saw one today, there's a 450 credit score, but their on time bill payment is 80%. And so I'm more interested in, do you pay your bills on time? That's all I want to know. So I look at that and then I look to see if they have anything in collections. From the credit score, that's pretty much what's important to me. Because all you're trying to do is determine, does this person pay their bills? Because there are simply some people who just don't pay their bills. Like it ain't nothing you gonna do to get them to change their ways. They just don't pay bills. So those are the two things I look at. If they pass that, then I click a button in the agent and I say request documentation. The agent's going to send them an email, and the email basically says, here's a link. I need you to upload your pay stubs. I need you to upload your bank statements, and I need you to upload your proof of rent payment to your previous landlord. Now, proof of rent, of course, there's some people who don't have it because they may be first time renters, but that's also another signal for you. They've never done this before. So that's a signal. But again, on time, not necessarily on time, but I need to see your rent roll, your ledger, your whatever that shows that you've been paying rent. Again, trying to see, do you pay your bills? And then the pay stub, do you have income? I do not rent to people who don't have income. I am sorry, because how are you going to pay me if you don't have any money coming in? So I need to check your income, and then I validate income with bank statements. You'd be amazed at how great people are with creating bank pay stubs. So I can't even take your pay stub, and I won't take your W-2. W-2 is last year's income. I'm concerned about today's income. So that is my tenant vetting process. Um, do I have partners involved? Not really. I have partners in my real estate business, but no one really actively participates in the operation side of things. Everyone on the operations team is an employee, for lack of a better term, and that's probably because if you are a busy corporate professional, you probably just don't have the time. I mean, it's a lot of time and energy. Um, Thank you, Juice. I'm dropping bombs. I'm just yapping and running my mouth. But the time and energy that it takes to actually deal with the back and forth with the tenants, the back and forth with the maintenance manager, the oh, this happened, oh, that happened. What do I do? I mean, I don't even want to do it. And that's why I'm putting all these agents in place because I'm like, I actually got to a point. It's every year I get to this point, but every year after I do my taxes and I look back at the last year, I'm like, I can't keep giving this business all this energy. Every single year I have the same conversation. So I'm constantly trying to iterate and change. And it's like, what can I put in place to keep me in this business a little bit longer? So most of my partners have opted out, and I don't blame them. Let's see. Samuel, what do you do for corporate work? Are you single? You are so beautiful from another person. I am not single. What do I do for corporate work? How do I answer that? Well, here's what I will say. I stopped putting the company I work for on LinkedIn several years ago. And that's because I was a career coach back in the day. And there was a point where I was working for an employer, and I think my content started getting attention, and people at the office were like, oh, Jerry's putting out content. And somehow it became a conflict of interest. And I learned that if you put your company name on LinkedIn, your coworkers get alerted, or all your get alerted when you have a post that's doing well. It'll because LinkedIn wants everybody to, come in and see what's up, and hey, there's this post by so and so that you might be interested in. And so I didn't realize that those notifications were going out to my coworkers, and so I no longer say where I work. But what I do for work, I study electrical engineering. I've done everything. I've done manufacturing, robotics, software, and then I became a people manager, and now I'm doing program management. So I'm still in the technical space, but now I'm more focused on the business side of things and getting products out the door. That is my role now, where I used to be involved on the ground level of creating and programming and making products. So that is what I do for corporate work. Let me, and y'all keep them coming, but let me jump in to these other questions from the community post. I put out a community post last week, and there were a ton of questions that came in from there. I am completely shocked there's nobody here from Substack. I'm wondering if it's working. But guess what? We'll know if it's working after we're done. And I am going to save this live. Yeah, I don't think it's live on Substack. So I'm gonna have to publish it later. I'll do that. I'll publish it later because I wanted to test going live both places. And I think I know why it's not live. And I can't, even though it says it is, I can't stop and add it. What a bummer. But this is the point in testing it out. This is the point in testing this out. I think I'll just upload it. I'll just upload it and they can get in where they can fit in. Because most of the questions came from y'all anyway. So, okay. How many hours a week do you spend maintaining the 90 units? Not that many. I do 1 hour a week with my team. I probably spend another hour just here or there answering questions, responding to vacancy stuff. Like the most of my time is spent doing lease renewals and getting vacancies filled. Like That's the part that I have not outsourced. Everything else is outsourced for the most part. Um, so I don't. I would say 4 hour. You know that book called The 4 Hour Work Week? Probably 4 hours at most. Now it used to be a whole lot more. It used to be tons of hours, like so much so that I couldn't work a job and I couldn't create content and I couldn't do anything else because it was so all encompassing. But now I got it down to about 4 hours. How do you find deals, or did you just buy most of your units turnkey? This person's probably not here, but when you say turnkey, that has different definitions. But how do I find deals? Zillow. I have a what's it called? I have like a save search in Zillow. But since I have so many properties in the area where I have properties, of course I know realtors. People send me deals all the time. I get text messages, I get all kind of stuff about here's a property. So the key there is getting in the game. If you have not bought anything, just go to the MLS. Like I feel like people spend a lot of time, waste a lot of time trying to find deals and do backdoor stuff, and it's like you don't even know what you're doing. Your goal is to get a property in your possession, and if you need to go through Zillow to do that, so be it. Where the market is right now, you're gonna get a deal. Like it's a buyer's market, so you could pretty much get the same deal. Like, don't feel like you gotta drive for dollars or do anything crazy. Like, just find. I think the more important key is when you find a property, does it work? And that's something I suggest people do. Um, as you're coming across properties on Zillow, run the numbers, see if you can make it work. I think under being able to spot a property that you can make work is more important than finding deals. So I find deals just publicly or when people send them to me. Do I buy are most of my units turnkey? I don't know what you mean by that, but most of the properties I bought have had tenants in it. If that's what you mean by turnkey, um, there people are selling problems. So don't think you're going to buy something that there's no work for you to do. That doesn't exist. How do you get started realistically from scratch working a 9 to 5 job? Oh, I'm creating a whole video about that because I keep getting that question. Um, and I guess the short answer is I do have a digital product that kind of walks you through that. The very first thing you got to do is get your money together. If you can come up with $25,000, $50,000, you can buy a property. If you can buy a property, you can figure out how to operate the property. You will have to have a team in place. Like I manage my own, but I don't take calls. I don't do maintenance. I don't deal with vendors. I do have a person to do that. And typically that's what a property manager would do for you. But you can do that part yourself. You can do that part yourself. Um, so I think from scratch, the very first thing you gotta do is get your money together. Period. Like if you don't have your money together, there's nothing to talk about. You should not be concerned about finding a property manager, nothing. Nothing. You have to have the money together. And so I'm gonna drop my link. It's everywhere. Confidenceiscash.com, where you can get the cash kit and you can start getting your money together and you can see how that can funnel you into your first property. Did you pull money out of properties to scale? I have done that. I have done that before when property values skyrocketed. I took some profits out for sure, and I did buy some additional properties at that time. Which format did you use for properties that you own? Are they mostly buy and hold? If yes, how long did you hold it for? All of my properties have been buy and hold. Um, I'm just getting my phone here set up. All of my properties have been buy and hold. I just hate that let's see. I know y'all like, what in the world? But I had to, I'm trying to do a test run today. And I just hate that Substack is missing this. I really do. And I now see why they're missing this. Because when I came back into the live, you got to set up a new one every time. So even if they only get some of it, I still want to, for my own tick box, say that I went live today. So thank y'all, Lord. Substack is asking for all the Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. But see, I always teach you gotta fail fast and do the things before you're ready. And y'all can see me doing this here live. I can't. First time I tried to go live, my audio wasn't working. And now I'm back in, and now Substack it took a crap. So I'm just trying to get all this set up because my goal for today was to say I went live on both channels, and that I will do. So thank y'all for being so patient. I still got a ton of questions to get through. I see more and more people popping in. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. I used to go live every week uh, on LinkedIn before I quit that platform. I should probably move this phone over here because both cameras will be having the same angle. Hey, Ironclad sister. Yes, so now my Substack is live now. Now I can really roll. Um, okay. Y'all have been very generous. What was I saying? I was saying that buy and hold, fix and flip, or okay, so I my general strategy for real estate and Substack, you're just joining. We're talking about real estate questions, system questions, and of course, money. Drop what you have in the chat. Um, my intent was to buy and hold all of my properties. My intent was to have something to pass down to my son. So I never intended to sell anything, but I've already sold one property a couple years ago, maybe last year. Last year we sold a property, and I've done one fix and flip. So we bought one rundown, but it was in a great neighborhood, very rundown. Bought one property for $50,000. It took us a year to turn it around. So fix and flip is not for the faint or the weak at heart. So I did one fix and flip, and I think my strategy now is to buy low, buy in a great neighborhood, buy at a great price, buy when the systems are good, right? So you have some runway on your roof, you have some runway on your HVAC system, et cetera, et cetera. Buy from a position where you might not have to spend that much money up front. And I think you run the property into the ground and then you sell it. Because what I'm finding right now is that I'm dealing with a lot of problems that I didn't used to have. And I'm like, maybe I'm holding on to properties too long. So I'm considering that now. That's, something that I'm actively working through. Uh, Kadila, I think that's how you pronounce it. Let me know if that's right. Do you have or give an adverse action letter if you in part deny someone because their credit report came back with no credit at all, no score, no nothing? That's on a case by case basis. If they don't have any credit, and it depends on what their background check says. If they can supply me with the other things that I look for, which are pay stubs, bank statements, proof of rent payments, I may consider it because maybe they just running a cash business. Maybe they pay their landlord cash and they don't want anything on their credit. So the credit score is not the end all be all for me. I do have like a if then, so it's like if they don't have proof of rent payment, what is their on time credit score? If they don't have a not credit score, on time bill payment, which is a part of the credit report package. If they don't have, so it's kind of like either or. I'm not saying you got to meet all the requirements, but I have to be able to look at the total package and say, do I believe this person is going to pay their bills? If you don't have any proof of rent payment, like if you're a new renter, you don't have proof of rent and you don't have credit, I can't rent to you because you're too big of a risk. I have no way of verifying that you have been responsible with your money. So, I hope I answered that question properly. Let me know. And y'all keep dropping them. I'm answer what I'm doing is I did a community post a couple of weeks, not a couple last week. And I got a bunch of questions here, but if I see something pop in on the chat, uh I'm gonna answer those first. And Geraldine, is that how is it Geraldine? And that's funny because people actually call me Geraldine, like as a joke. My name is not Geraldine. But people always try to turn Jerry into something else. If ever in the DMV, would love to meet you. I actually used to live in the DMV. You just missed me by about 8 years. I used to live in the DMV. Um, let's see, something else. Sorry, I meant, do you have do you have to give that FCRA disclaimer when you deny them if part of the issue was no credit history? How do you source deals? Okay. No, I don't do nothing. I don't do nothing extra. My agent fires off the email that says you've been declined. I say sometimes I try to save the applications, but I can't be saving everybody's applications. Trust and believe. I have never been pulled to the fire that said you didn't rent to somebody and you should have. If anything, I give more than enough chances. I actually go back and forth with people. If you submit your documentation and I don't have something, I have another button I can click that the agent will come back to you and say, "Hey, we're still missing." So if anything, I go above and beyond. I don't do anything extra. How do you source deals to buy low? I am looking to go from C minus D properties to solid Bs. Can't afford them. Can't afford them in what market? I mean, that's always the answer. The prices are different depending on what market you're in. Some markets are just not affordable. Like I used to live in California. I simply couldn't afford a property in California. I wasn't going to pay $1 million to hope somebody paid the rent. Mm-mm. So some markets are just not affordable, and I think you got to research that as well. How would someone who's trying to get into real estate who has no huge amount of money, how would you guide them? Go get some money. You're going to hate this answer. But here's the reality. There are people on the internet saying that you can bootstrap your way into real estate investing. I don't recommend it because when you bootstrap your way in, that means when something breaks, you don't have the money. That means when somebody doesn't pay their rent, you're flat out. So I think your first project is to figure out how to come up with some money. And that's why my platform, that's why we talk about real estate systems and money, because you can't get into real estate if you don't have a system for creating money. You can't keep your real estate business going if you don't have a system behind it. So that's why I kind of talk about all three of those things. Um, and now that I've been creating content and YouTube has become another source of income for me, it's like, what can you do to come up with some money? Like, can you do anything that can bring in another $1,000 a month into your income? DoorDash, uh, Uber, like record for YouTube. I don't know, become a consultant, do some done for you. What can you do where you can earn money that you don't need? Because at the end of the year, if you can make $1,000 a month or 2,000, whatever, you just sock it. You have to start funneling money away that you don't need and you have no intention to touch until it's time to buy your rental property. Because I would say I didn't have a huge amount of money, but corporate helped. I always say corporate was my first investor. My corporate job, I used bonuses and stock allotments, and I used to. My company now doesn't offer it, but it's called like a stock plan where they give you they'll let you buy the stock at a discount, and so automatically you get like a 15% return. Like at the end of the year, you that's like $5,000, $10,000. So you have to, work your way up to having enough to get into real estate. It's not, I know people are selling a dream that any and everybody can get in, but it's the hard route. It's the harder route. You have to um you got to have some skin in the game. And I agree. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is having the money at the same time you have the desire. Because you have the desire to get into real estate, but is the money in alignment? So I'm gonna keep, and I'm tired, y'all. I made a mistake of recording a video right before I went live because I have content things that I have to get out. So let me get a sip of water. I got a bunch of questions, and I'm probably gonna cap this at an hour. I didn't even think I was gonna be here this long, to be honest with you. I thought I was just coming to do a little quick one too. Um, so I hope I answered that question. That's how I would guide you. I would start looking outside of real estate first, and I would start looking at what are some opportunities for me to increase my income. I don't think you should try to cheat the system in any other way. What was your turning point toward taking action, both in real estate and content creating? Oh, that's a good one. Ugh, how do I answer that? My personality, I have very little patience. So I think I turned to taking action because mostly I was tired of waiting on people. I hate waiting, period. And I was always the type that like, "Oh, I'll just do it myself. I'll just go do it." And so that just turned into even the advice I was just giving. I want to expand my income. I want to have complete ownership over my life, my income, how I spend my time. The only way to do it is to get up off your butt and do the thing. Was there an actual turning point though? Oh, I have told this story that I think the turning point is when I was working at Tesla and I actually saw and worked alongside Elon Musk, and I saw him do that exact same thing. I saw him making decisions, not having the answers. I mean, just on the fly. And it's like you deal with the repercussions on the back end because it's like either you learn or you learn. There's no such thing as a loss when you take an action and it's giving you some information that you didn't have before, and you know more than other people. And now when you circle back to that thing, you're doing it differently than the person who just sat on the sidelines and read books and watched podcasts and whatever it is they did. So I just don't know any other way to move ahead in life. I really don't. I and I think what I will say is that it's levels, right? You have to ratchet yourself up to being able to say, well, I'm just going to buy a bunch of real estate properties. Start taking baby steps. So that's what I would ask you, um, Kay. What's one baby step you could take toward one of your goals? And even in content creating, I think the thing with content is that what we have on our side right now is people want authenticity. People want real. And so now is the best time to be on the internet running your mouth because people want to hear the real parts. They don't want performance. They don't want perfect. They don't want any of that. So it's like, why not? Why not? I'm just at a point where I'm like, who cares? My outlook right now is I'm collecting stories to tell. Period. I'm collecting stories to tell. And that means I can't be worried about the outcome. In order to have a story to tell, I have to do something. And I have to take a step. That's the only way I'll have a story to tell. So I love to hear back from UK on what your first step is going to be. The price points are not bad. Oh, we're back to talking about can't afford properties in B neighborhoods. Price points are not bad, but they don't cash flow. I'm having to decide whether to break even or incur small losses until rents grow or rely on future appreciation. You are a wealth of experience. Glad I stumbled on. I'm so glad you are here. um, I do not recommend taking any losses. I mean, because there are losses coming that you don't even know about. Don't don't buy a property upfront knowing you're going to take a loss. Don't buy a property saying that, oh, the rents are going to turn around. You don't know that. We don't know what life, world, global emergency is going to happen. That may never happen. Appreciation is a gamble too. I mean, appreciation is the safest bet, really. I mean, what have properties in that area done in the past? Is it a place where it's excuse me, it's going to appreciate in a couple years and you can pull money out and do something else with it. But in that scenario, if it don't cash flow, don't force it. If it don't cash flow, don't force it. Unless this is truly a buy and hold for you. Unless it's like, I don't even care what this does for the next 25 years. If you're gonna treat the property like a stock and you're just gonna put it somewhere and never look at and basically not expect anything to pop off, I would enforce it. And so can you consider other markets that do cash flow? Is my question. I just think real estate is so up and down and unstable. And I look at me. I'm discovering this all here live in real time. I should be popping these comments up on the screen. Well, thank y'all so much for allowing me to be uh, out of practice and learning live. But I don't think real estate. I wouldn't take that bet. I wouldn't take that bet. If I like I say before, if I don't see the cash flow on paper, I know it's not going to happen in real life. Because I think the cash flow is really um, whatever you see on paper is about half that because of just the unknowns of things. So what I'm interested, what market are you trying to get into or what market are you in? Just so I can understand where prices are and are these multi-units or single family homes or but what I will say is that I think real estate goes through cycles and it might not cash flow right now. but that means you have to sit back and wait until it does. But I would not get in with unless you're prepared to put in $1,000 every month, $2,000 every month. I mean, if you just got money to blow, if you're looking for some tax write-offs, go for it. But if you're looking to have that money support you for your own living expenses, it's a no for me. Y'all quiet over here on Substack. Let me know if y'all got anything. Y'all, it's been 45 minutes. I'm thirsty, tired, hungry. I'm gonna take one more question. I'm gonna take one more question and then I'm gonna save the rest of these for uh another time. But I will be live again next Wednesday in the cash room. I got one of my old coaches, not my real estate coach, but my LinkedIn coach will be joining me and we're going to be talking about what's working right now. Like she has dabbled in real estate, she's built businesses, like what's working right now? How are people getting ahead? And I think that answers the question somebody else asked, how do I come up with a down payment? All these other businesses we run in and all these other things we doing, that's how you come up with a down payment. That's how. If you can get YouTube to pay you $1,000 a month, now in 2 years you're ready to buy a building. That's how it works. Okay, let me look at these last few comments. And that just means the questions that I got before today, I'm gonna have to come back to those some other time because I didn't think I was gonna be here this long. Okay, look at that. Let me show in a comment. How much would you say someone would need, and do you always take a percentage of your rental before? Wait, hold on. Leave this here until I'm ready, please. Uh, how much would you say someone would need, and do you always take some percentage of your rental before you say you cash flow, or do you take all cash after mortgages cash flow? How much you would need to get started? In a perfect world, 50,000. In an imperfect world, 25. Um, at least. I don't even think you should have a conversation about real estate if you don't have 25,000 like in your account sitting that you don't need. Uh do you always take some percentage of your rental? No. I tried that. His question is, how do I calculate my cash flow? Is my cash flow based on and do I pay myself first? Is basically what he's asking. And I tried that and it still didn't work. That's preferred though. If you can make yourself an expense, do that. But what I actually do in practice is that after everything is paid, that is the cash flow. Because what started happening is that I would pay myself first and then there'd be some maintenance emergency or something. It just started feeling like I was choosing between paying myself or paying into the business reserves. It didn't work out. I love that strategy though, and I'm gonna keep working at it. Honestly, thank you for reminding me about that. That's one that I might add back into my strategy this year and figuring out how to do that, how to pay myself first. But right now, the owner is the bottom line. It's the bottom line. And that's the thinking that I had. I was like, okay, well, how do I make us one of the expenses? How do I make us in the top line? And the best I came up with is I kind of split it up into percentages. So, like, take all the revenue you get, how much is mortgage? And I actually need to find that, but I think I had like some percentage for mortgage is usually 30% or more. Sometimes it's 40. And then you got like your percentage for management fees or whoever you're paying to do your work. You got to pay them. You got your utility percentage, and then you have your maintenance percentage, and then you have your savings percentage. And so it's like if you can calculate what you want, if you want to make 15 to 20%, you can kind of rearrange all those other numbers to try to fit that, but it just doesn't always happen. And if it doesn't happen, it just messes everything up. So I haven't figured out a way to pay myself first without messing everything up. That's something I may spend some time doing. Thank you for that question. Um, Looking at single family homes, how how do I source deals? Okay, now this is not working. Okay, whatever. Looking at mostly single family homes, how do you source deals, MLS or off market? I do MLS if I'm really looking, but people bring me deals off market all the time. My first two deals, which got me from 0 to 7 doors, were off market. But guess what? Unless you talk to people and let them know you want to get involved in real estate, or you have agents that you communicate with, or you just have, people who just are involved in that business, I wouldn't trust the off market deal, to be honest with you. Like I've only done off market with people that I've done business with before in the past, or I know them personally, or something for real. Um, but yeah, if somebody brings me an off market deal and it makes sense, I'm going for it. I've sold off market. I bought off market. Uh, no juice. Thank you for everything. Thank all of y'all for being present today, for dealing with my shenanigans, trying trying to get straight for the live. Um, I truly appreciate you guys finding me, supporting me, always watching the content. Keep the questions coming, because and keep commenting under my post and different things like that, because a lot of times that's how I decide what I'm doing next. Like I see a comment and I'm like, oh, that's it. And I turn on the camera and I can literally just start talking about it. So if there's something you want to know, make sure to leave me a comment. Like I said, I'll be live again next week. And I haven't committed to a full live schedule yet, because if you know me, if you've been following me on my other channels, you know one thing I'm not going to do is burn out. And so content creation, I have corporate job, and then I have real estate, and then I have content creation. And so it's a layer on top of my other two incomes. I cannot burn out trying to do that. I won't do it. I've done it already once before. Um, so yes, I haven't committed to a schedule, but I will go live at least 2-3 times a month. At least 2 times a month. But if you're ever looking for more content, you can always become a channel member. I share even more there. They get extra videos, extra behind the scenes. There are some questions that I literally just won't answer in public because it's not everybody's business. But I share stuff like that with the private communities. And so I have the membership here on YouTube and Substack. You can become a paid member and you will get everything, no gatekeeping. What else is going on? Make sure you check out my link, Confidence is Cash. The Cash Kit is how you get your money together. It is how you buy your first rental property. It is how you decide if real estate is even for you. So go to confidenceiscash.com, check out the Cash Kit. One other thing I do, if you're new around here, is that for every episode, live, video, anything, I do create what I call an ASAP, and it is an action step and playbook. So I have an AI agent basically taking notes on the episode for you. And it is good, y'all. Like you can literally take that ASAP, put the action steps in place, and be off to the races, running somewhere. And so don't ever feel like you got to take notes when you watch my content. Just get your ASAP and you be good to go. All right, y'all. questions keep popping in, and I keep trying to say I'm leaving. Because your girl is hungry. I need to go get lunch. Let's see. All right, these last few questions, and I will save this live because y'all were so gracious sitting through my shenanigans. Um, but going forward, I'll leave the conversation from the cash room. I'll leave that up, but the Q&A will probably be for the community because it is a bit of wealth of a knowledge here, dropping gems. And the reason we have a community is because we gotta support creators. If you don't, they disappear. And if you just heard, like, creators burn out, they want to make sure that they are serving an audience and people who are active audience members, not just passing through. So I really want to be able to give away everything I know, but it only makes sense to give that away to my active audience members. Hey, Deshay over on Substack. She just copped her a cash kit. I can't wait to hear how it goes for you. I was just telling everybody else to get their cash kit if they want to get their money together. So we got a few more questions here. Retire in 10 years or less. They teach. Oh, I'm reading a book on real estate investing. Retire in 10 years or less. They teach buying 2 properties each year over 10. I mean, that's a good strategy. That's a good strategy. I went a little more crazy town. I did I did 2 properties the first year. I don't even know how many properties I bought, to be honest with you, like after that, but I know. So I my original purchase got me 7 doors, and I said, okay, let's double that. And so then I think we bought like 14 doors the next year, and we just kept moving by 8. I just felt like every year was like 8 more, 8 more, 8 more. Um, but I think 2 properties a year is a good clip, and that way you can really understand the problems. I think that is something that I did not do. I bought so fast, I didn't really understand all the problems I was up against. So use me. Come on, y'all keep asking questions. Let's okay for real. Ricky or Rick, you are my last question. Okay, but I got 2 more. Great information. Love this channel. I'm new here, hoping to get into real estate. Hey Kay, keep coming back. I will help you get into real estate for sure. Turnkey style. Have companies. Let's see, what is this question about? Turnkey style. Have companies buy and rehab the properties you buy at a premium and then they manage the properties. Have you heard of that concept? I have not, but it sounds like a concept where you ain't gonna make no money, to be honest with you. There's too many people in the supply chain. That's the other thing. And that's why I manage my own properties for real. Because when you allow 3, 4, 5, 6 different people to insert themselves into the supply chain and they are top line, your bottom line, ain't nothing gonna be left for you. So I no, you got to be able to put a little skin in the game. You got to be able to operate. You got to be able to do a little bit of work on your own. So in that, in this scenario, you have to buy the property or rehab the property or manage it. Like you got to do one of those things or you're going to be eaten alive. That is my take on that. Last question. What advice do you have for people up against debt to income? Up against the debt to income ratio on lending. I've been doing it for 3 years, have 6 houses. I can't seem to get any more without private lending. What I did was we found a broker who would lend based on the rent roll and did not take our private credit into consideration at all. So, and there are brokers out there that do that. So I would say go looking for that. That way you can keep scaling because that is also another cheat code. I think you're right. We got up to about 6 or 7 houses and they were like, nah, we can't, we can't loan you no more money. Even though you can show that you're turning a profit. Um, But the thing is, they want your W-2 profit, and most real estate investors don't want to show W-2 profit. That's the whole point, is to show a loss on my taxes, but have money in my bank account. Um, so yeah, you got to find a broker. And when you say private lending, I hope you don't mean hard money. It's people who will loan to you just like a conventional loan, 30 years fixed. That's what I would look for. But yeah, that's definitely an issue. Like most investors fall into that. You just got to find a broker who will take care of you. And somebody asked me who I use. I got to go back and find them. It's been a couple years. But the other thing you got to do is you got to get these properties off your credit. And that's the other thing that the broker can help you do, is to refinance, get those off your credit. And even if you got to build it back up all over again, do that. That's what I would say. Oh, yeah, we up to 16 people and a couple over here on Substack. I should have ate lunch before and I should have came prepared to like really hang. Y'all, we've been here an hour. I can't believe it. We've been here an hour and I still got questions that I didn't answer. So I'm gonna have to call it quits, y'all. I usually don't work on Fridays at all. Like let's talk about that. I usually do not work on Fridays. But for I just got back from a vacation, so I had some content to create today. So anyway, I'll be back live next week. I will see y'all then. Until drop your questions in under my videos if you're on Substack. Um, you know how to reach me. Respond to any of my notes or posts or anything. How can I pay you a consultation? If you go to confidencescash.com, you can book a one-time call with me. That is how you get my eyeballs and you get to pick my brain about your very specific situation. So I would recommend that if you are sitting here and you're like, I still got burning questions, you can always book a call. But that's all, y'all. I got to be out. Thanks so much for joining my first live. I'll be back next week.